Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whenever it is you're actually listening to this. Hope everyone's doing well. I have here a cold steel budget knife battle. And honestly, didn't know much about this knife. I've heard about the range boss for years. I picked up both of these knives for under $30. So, look, one of my other reviews, I did a review of a knife that was under $40. And I was, unimpressed. It's okay. It's a bigger knife. We can even bring it out. Here it is. This is by CJRB, Chinese made. If you haven't seen that review, you can check that out. I won't go into detail here. I rambled enough on that one. But this knife was more than these two knives together. So, with that context, let's jump in, okay? So we got some similarities and some big differences here. Both of them have triad lock, okay? The Range Boss has a 4-inch blade. The Verdict has a 3-inch blade, okay? Just looking at the box here with the Range Boss, obviously different packaging. This is a blister pack. This is just a standard box. Blade thickness is 3.5 millimeters on the Range Boss. The handle is 5 1/4 inches long, made out of Zyx. What the hell is Zyx? I don't know, but we'll figure that out. Now, what I will say, both of these are made with 4116 stainless, which is a German stainless. It's a ThyssenKrupp manufactured steel. So, let's look at the dimensions on the Verdict. 3-inch blade, 4-inch blade on the Range Boss. Overall length, 7 1/4. Overall length on the Range Boss, 9 1/4. This one weighs 2.5 ounces. This one is 3.4 ounces, so it's a little heavier. 3 millimeter thickness to the blade, 3.5 millimeter. And this is a glass-filled nylon. Both appear to have thumb studs. And again, the famous triad lock. So, let's get these suckers open. Here's my cold steel Tough Light, which I have been opening almost all these knives with. Standard cold steel nomenclature, anytime, anywhere. So we'll put this box over here. All right. And what I will do, okay, this feels similar to some of my other cold steel knives with the Griv X textured scales, but they call this type of scale, they're calling it Zyx. So let's just take a look, see. Ambidextrous pocket clip, left to right pocket. This one, both these knives are made in Taiwan, I believe. we'll have to take this out, but on the picture it says Taiwan. So let's, very thin handle. It looks very traditional, pocket knifey, traditional pocket knife. But with some length to it. I mean, it's not a small knife by any estimation. 4116 stainless, Taiwan. Nice and sharp. Triad lock, very secure. You know, for me, super like textured, grippy handle. I don't like my knives this thin with the handles. I like a little more robustness to the handles, but I mean, for this one was $12.20. For that price, we could live with it. Okay, put this guy here. Let's get out the verdict here. And how are we gonna try to get him out? I still haven't mastered like opening these the best way, but this, I think this way you can sort of, yeah, we're just gonna, there we go. Okay. Very thin. And the ergonomics, for a small knife, it's got nice ergonomics, okay? It's much smoother, less texture handle. Now this is the Grivex. See, I got 3 different things here. GFN here. So now we can put this guy away. And this is called a spear point. The Range Boss is more traditional clip point. Here we have them both together. Let's line them up to. I put the edge of the blade, not this edge is what I'm saying. You can see the difference. Now, you know, it's funny, they say the blade is 5 millimeters thicker on the Range Boss, and you know it is, but the length of the blade, this Verdict seems a little more robust, and maybe it's because of the grind, because you know the Range Boss is just a flat, doesn't have, you know, I think they and I could be wrong, I think they call that a saber grind, maybe. Again, my nomenclature is not as good as it, well, they call it a flat grind to the edge. So there we go. We'll try to remember that characteristic. You know, the Verdict here just has a little bit different grind. They say this is supposed to be a complement to the Code 4, and that was one of my very first videos. I looked at a Code 4 and I added a karambit ring to it. Thoughts? I mean, look, this one's 14 bucks. This one's 12 bucks and change. I mean, you will never go wrong. I mean, for a cold steel, the action on this guy is pretty darn loose. And when I say loose, I mean that triad lock is not binding this sucker down so much that it's like, it's not a fight. I mean, you can flip that open relatively easy for a brand new cold steel. See, hear that? With the range boss. Now, both these are made in Taiwan. For a $12 knife, you're not gonna get a ton of QC. You know, it's just not gonna happen. What I suspect is this, I could probably take this apart and polish the inside of the triad lock, and it would make the release. See, it's not a bad release, and you know, I'll probably lube this guy up, because even in my budget knives, just part of my process, I will lubricate the action, and I will open and close. My fidget, you know, you hear if a knife is good to fidget with or not. I'll watch TV, and I'll open and close my knife back and forth. Especially these, I have a lot of cold steel knives, and just, you know, wearing them in, getting a break-in period over the course of an evening. You know, I could possibly open a knife 100 times, 150 times sometimes if I'm watching a movie. And it makes the action what it was supposed to be. You know, the interior workings of these cold steel triad locks, it's a great design. I believe Andrew Demko designed triad lock. I have to double check that. Correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong on that. But you know, going from here, I talk about throwaway knives all the time. You know, these knives with a decent steel, you know, this German steel is not bad. It's easy to sharpen. It's, you know, these are not the size knives that you're going to be prying stuff with or getting crazy with them. Just depends on what your actual use is. Super low profile. Let's see if we can, I don't know. And when I say profile, I'm talking about the thickness. These will go in a pair of pants, and certainly not be obvious. You know, if you can see where the clip mounts, it's going to ride very low in your pocket, and that's a good thing in my mind. So I am unlike my other budget knife, my Chinese budget knife that I got. With these, for the money, I mean, I am so impressed, so impressed. You could almost buy 3 of this knife, or you could buy 3 of this knife for what I paid for the one Chinese knife. And this one, you could buy almost 4 of them. So, you know, take that how you will. I think in this case, you could certainly get more quantity and better quality. So a lot of folks have really lamented cold steel being sold to a large conglomerate. And I think I understand that, but I haven't noticed this just terrible drop in quality because, again, this Tough Light, this little guy, you know, my biggest problem is cleaning off the tape residue. But this is a great little knife, you know. It's easy to use. Stow it away pretty quick. This one was cheap too, you know. But this knife by itself is almost these two knives combined. So, you know, but here's the thing. I use the hell out of this one, you know. These will go into stow bags, go bags, vehicles. When you need a decent knife in a pinch, these are fine, you know. This is a utility knife. That's all it is for me. I'm not gonna carry this for defense or anything like that, although it'll cut you. You know, this is a US 8A as opposed to the 4116, but you know, it's very happy. So I think you can't go wrong with this. I got these cold steel knives from Midway USA. You know, Midway is such a beast, but I found them to have great deals, you know. I may drop their, I'm thinking out loud, because if you watch my reviews, it's just me, no script, just going for it. So I may drop the links for these in the Midway website in the description below. Just because if you need a good deal, you need a cheap, cost-wise, a knife that is affordable, either one of these I think are going to do, you know, the trick for you. It's really just up to you. This knife obviously is significantly longer. The blade itself, that flat grind, I don't know. I think my proclivity is for this. This just feels stouter, but you know, obviously it's a smaller knife, 2 inches smaller. So, you know, I'll leave that up for your consumption. So hopefully you found this video at least entertaining and somewhat informative. I'll do some more. But with that being said, please like and subscribe. That's what you're supposed to say on these YouTube channels. And I guess, oh wait, what did I hear? Hit the bell to see when I have a new video up. I try to do at least one video a week these days. And if you get a chance, look at my older videos. I think some of them will at least annoy or entertain you. So with that being said, remember, life is hard. Don't complain. See you next time.